Good morning, friends. How are you? So, this is a continuation of a story that started the other day about coming into town and getting my water changed over. But I've made a stop on the way. Just a little update. So, I spent some time over the weekend trying to use Google Translate and see if I could fill in the documents myself, which don't have a lot of lines to fill in. But the option of abbreviations, like when we have on forms, a lot of times the information by the line that tells you what to fill in is an abbreviation of that word, and when it's our own language we know what it is, but Google Translate's just not there yet. So while it's a really great tool for travelers, for a lot of things it's just not there. So my attorney had offered to help me out this morning, and I just messaged him, and he's in his office, so I'm going to go head there next. I just arrived by bus to Popovo, but I'm going to share a little bit of something else first. So people who have known me for a long time know this to be true, that for many years of my life I struggled with my weight, not because I was especially overweight, but I was very self-conscious about it. And my previous husband was very, on top of it and very conscious about it, which added to my just self-criticism in that area. That's something I've given up completely now, and it's really wonderful. It's been a journey, and my sweetie pie Ryan has a lot to do with that. But I don't own a scale. I don't know how much I weigh. I don't really care. My focus is on being healthy. I walk a lot, and I try to eat fresh fruits and vegetables and just be conscious about my diet. And I'm much happier that way. But another aspect of this is of living like Rhonda is we have to be very price aware, very cost conscious to live this lifestyle and to afford the freedoms that this lifestyle's given us. And so I'm very aware and good at keeping track in my mind of how much produce costs and being able to compare those values. And so when I walk through a produce market like this, I'm looking very closely at the quality of the produce and also the prices on it. So I thought I'd walk you through Popovo's market again today. I'm not going to buy anything right now because I don't want to be carrying it around in my bag, but I will be picking some things up before I leave and go back to the village. They have a much larger selection of produce here in town than we do in our village, and I love buying it this way. So I'm going to take you for a little tour. Here we go. Okay, so as we walk through, I'm going to be pretty conspicuous doing this. I've got to get used to that. But when you look at the prices on these, that is 1 leva per kilo is what that means. And you can do the math in your own currency. It's about 1 leva is about 60 cents American, and a kilo is about double a pound. So that's about 30 cents a pound for cucumbers. That's a really great price by our standards. The tomatoes are 130. That's considerably less than half as much as they were just a few weeks ago. So prices are coming down really rapidly on produce. So this also inspires me to, even though I don't have much in my garden, I still want to learn some home canning techniques. You see these big ones that are a little more pink. They're three leva a kilo, so that's quite a bit more. For those who are kind of new at produce shopping, really a lesson about shopping for produce is a lot of times the less expensive it is, actually the better it is. Don't be thrown off by it not being as aesthetic. It often has considerably more flavor and can be richer in nutrients even sometimes when it's less expensive. Allowed to ripen on the vine, that kind of thing, might be local. Here we've got garlic. We've got different sizes of garlic for a pretty big difference in price. You've got your peppers. Yeah, so these prices have come down so much in the last couple of weeks as things come into season. There's these. So many beautiful tomatoes, and I'm a lover of tomatoes. Look at the gorgeous cherries. I know I have some people following along now who might be considering moving to Bulgaria or spending some time here. Here's some beautiful beans. These were not available not so long ago. apricots, big trays of strawberries. So I've got my little outdoor stove kind of reconstructed well enough to get a fire going in there, and I might try my hand at drying some different kinds of things, like I've seen them do in a lot of the developing countries we've been in. I'd love to have some dried fruit over the winter. Look at these gorgeous cherries. So that's really a great price too, huh? Excuse me. Sorry. Zdrasty. Yeah. Melons. Watermelons. That might be. Yeah, I think that still means leva per kilo, but not. Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. The little brooms. These are the kinds of brooms a lot of people use here. This looks funny to Americans because we have handles on all of our brooms. And you've got lentils, dried beans. You've also got up here bags of dried herbs. Not sure what kind those are, but there's quite an assortment. They have colored lentils here too, pumpkin seeds, pineapples, apples. These are really good prices on apples too. Yeah, at home I had a real good sense of a good price on all produce. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fresh parsley. Walnuts. There's walnut trees here. We've got a big walnut tree in our yard. Okay, that gives you a feel. Okay, and so now away we go to the attorney's office and see what I can get done there. I've got a few questions for him about some other things, but mostly want to get my forms filled out so I can get my water changed over today into our name. All right, for now. I'm going to back up for just a minute. I didn't want to miss this little bit. Oh, the kitties. You can also buy a lot of seedlings around the market on market day. We've got coleus and celotias. There's dahlias here, salvia, snapdragons, marigolds. I don't see the prices on those. Okay, here we go. These are 80 sertinki, so that's like about 45 cents or so for a little plant. Geraniums. Yeah, so for those who are into flowers, here's my weakness, the different kinds of succulents. Yeah, so just thought I'd share that. Beautiful. Begonia. Okay. One more thing. In our village, if you want to grow from seed, it gets cold enough where you kind of have to have those chops. Have to know how to start them and protect them a bit. But if you don't know how to do that, you can come to the market when springtime comes. Here they're selling basil, little tomato plants, different kinds of small herb plants, and you can still get a garden going for pretty affordably. Of course, by seed is always the cheapest. I'm okay, merci. Merci. Oh, it's okay, sorry. Yeah, and here you can see different kinds of vegetables. Very nice. Merci. I remember the first time that I was brought into this town last summer when I was a workaway volunteer and came along for a ride just to see the bigger town nearby, and didn't have any sense of direction or anything. But I've really gotten quite familiar with the center of town, and just about everything that I really can imagine needing is in this area, and it's also walkable. So I really love that. That's very different from at home where you have to go everywhere by car and find a parking space, and this is so much more relaxed. This is where I get my little cup of corn if I'm hungry for corn. Zdrasty. There's little fast food restaurants. It's kind of adjust what I want and need to what's available. This is where you can come and buy bus tickets and things. You can get them at the bus station. There's different companies if you want to get a bus here and go to Greece or Turkey or different places within the country. This is where if you wanted to go for some high-end windows and the things like that, you could come and get that kind of stuff here. We're not likely to be doing that, but there are people who do. This is called Euroland. This is one of those kinds of buy anything and everything sort of store. It's really quite expansive, like just like a mini Walmart without any food. So there's a couple of them in town. You got your shoe store and your clothing stores. I don't buy these things new, and there's several secondhand shops within an easy walk. And it's so pleasant. This is the big center boulevard. This is Popovo again. And here's all of these cafes along this route. And all I'm doing now is I'm making like the 5-minute walk or so to the attorney's office. Rained like crazy last night. So I go up these stairs. And this is an area I'm pretty familiar with. My bank is like right around this way, over in this area. This is the town museum. Been in there. It was really interesting. There's a Western Union right up here where I exchange money. Up there where the people are sitting down is a coffee shop that I like to go in, and I know where the electrical outlet is, and they've got Wi-Fi, and it's very convenient for me when I'm just biding my time until it's time for the bus to come. Here's the exchange place. Easy peasy. Okay, so I just got to the top of the hill and turned to the corner. I walked past a little hardware store here. I've been in here before and inquired, and they do rent out tools and things if you needed, big power tools for a job. And then we're just about a half block away from the attorney's office. Okay, so this signage shows me where the office is. That word on the top, if you kind of squint your eyes and use your imagination, it's kind of like the word advocate, which is much like the word in French of attorney, avocat. And that second letter is a D ad, and then the B is V. So it's advocate. And this is the attorney's office through here. And then there's a little dentist next door. There's a couple of them. And we don't have a specific appointment time. I just come in. He's like, go with that. Hello. Hi. Okay, friends, so to catch you up with what's going on, he filled out my paperwork lickety-split, and then he told me I need to sign there and put my stamp. And I'm like, uh-oh, I don't have my stamp. Because I had to get a business entity to buy our house here. I need a little rubber stamp, and I knew I needed to get one, but I didn't know what for yet, and here we go. So first I need to go get my stamp made. So that's my next stop, is to head to the office supply store and see what's involved with getting a stamp made, and this is the information that needs to be on the stamp. So here we go, another little adventure. So I'm on my walk to the office supply place, but I wanted to stop for a second and admire this statue. So one thing I had told my attorney was that I had a little list of other questions for him, and he's like, well, okay, I'm going to go take my daughter to school or something. I'll be, come on back. So after I get my rubber stamp questions answered, I'll be coming back. But this particular statue made me want to come over and speak about it, because if you start looking around, females are conspicuously absent in our statuary in the States, and here that's absolutely not the case. There's a lot of females depicted and their statues. And I think that's really appropriate. I mean, we are half the population after all. And I think we've gotten a few things done over time that matter, you know. Okay, so enough soapbox jabber. I'm not exactly sure where this office supply store is, but I've been in it before. Yeah, I think that's it over there on that corner. Pretty nice that it's such an easy stroll to the office store. Something else I'm going to ask them while I'm in there is about printing out things for me, that documents that I need printed out. I'm taking an online English course, and there's some lesson plans I need to do that I need to have printed out. This is kind of cool. This is where you can dump your plastic bottle lids. I've learned that they raise funds to support some pediatric special equipment for hospitals around the country through that recycling initiative. So I dig it. Gracias. People look at me very curiously when I walk along and talk into my phone. But that's cool. Pedestrians have the right of way here. You still want to watch before you walk. But okay, so here you can see the store carries most of the familiar equipment. She made a copy of my deed. She confirmed the name with me of the company. This rubber stamp is, I guess, a method of, just confirming your identification of your business on different things. As you can see, this is like kind of a regular copy shop. You've got different papers and different kinds of school supplies, printers, office furniture, different kinds of tech support stuff. Different kinds of forms and things over there. And I'm pretty sure they can do the services like printing things. They've got CDs down there. Okay, so really that went pretty well. So she drew out how my stamp's going to look and showed me what this, the little stamp device was going to be. And she said that it's 20 leva. They might have a less expensive one. I don't know. I didn't ask. I'm like, that's okay. So it's like around, I guess, $12 or so for my stamp. But it won't be ready today. It won't be ready till tomorrow. So I'll come back and get it on Friday when I come back by bus. And that's just how it is. Sometimes things take a couple of steps to get it done. But, really, all things considered, that's not bad at all. Next day service, I have a rubber stamp made. So it's all good. So now I'm going to go back to the attorney's office and get some of the things done. So I'll probably just catch all up with the water saga next time. Okay, ciao. Not sure who this is, but my guess is this must be the revolutionary who was involved in the resistance of the Turks. We did a some minutes of reverence the other day in the village. They sounded off some sirens. So I decided to wander into here. I've never been in here before, but it's like in an indoor newsstand. All these different little newspapers. Nothing in English. You've got your variety of crossword puzzles and such. Some look kind of tabloidy. Some look like they're focused on farming and agriculture. Oh, something going on there. That looks like European Union debate stuff, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, I've got some sports celebrations. This caught my eye. I'm pretty sure. Well, that face looks familiar. I think this might have been the hero that was about. But I don't know enough Bulgarian yet to know if I'm right. So the day would have been the day of his death. Back, I believe, in the late 1800s was when that went down. When they were resisting the Turkish occupation. Let's see. Oh, and she also sells greeting cards. Here's another bust. This person died in 1873. That might be around the same time period too, huh? Quite young. Less than 40 years old. I would think could be part of that same bit of history. Senses of national alliances, historical national alliances are, always part of the story if you're trying to understand a culture. I'm on my walk back, and here's a couple more signs of attorneys' offices. I think that even might be where the notary was that we went to when we got things notarized. And why would they be located here? Because the courthouse is right over there where those flags are. This is a cool old building. It says 1925. It could sure use some love, but it's beautiful. Okay, friends, so I was walking from the accountant's office saying, okay, so what am I going to do next in town since I'm kind of at the end of the line for working on the water stuff. And I walked past my bank, and I remembered that I had been in here earlier when we first got here. And it got a little complicated because I was inquiring about our accounts and trying to figure out how we would pay for the house and stuff. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But I do have a personal account at this bank, and I know there's some money in it. Couldn't quite remember how much. And I wanted to order a bank card. So I just went in, and you have to take a deep breath because these things are a little awkward and a little intimidating. But the girl was very friendly, and there was no waiting. So I went up to the little machine and touched a button, and it put the commands up in English for me. Chose bank card, and they called out my number, and I didn't understand my number, but I was the only one sitting there, so I figured it was probably me, and walked up, and she gave me a smile. And between Google Translate and her little bit of English, it was not a problem. It's going to cost me 5 leva. I come back in 7 working days to pick up my bank card. I also asked her if she could print out my account information for me so I could have a physical copy of that. And she was very, no problem. And then while I was there, and since it was all going so well, I went ahead and asked her about online banking, if I could set that up. And she, bada bing, bada boom, she printed me out a little thing that's got my password and account information on it, and showed me on a piece of paper in my alphabet how I can find their website to take care of that. So that was a very productive, 10-15 minutes. And then I put on Google Translate, painless, to show her, and we both thought that was pretty funny. So, okay, just a little update. Hi, friends. So I'm at a little restaurant in Popovo, and I'm here by myself because I came to town by myself. And I know even back in the States, flying solo is awkward for a lot of people. Like going to a restaurant by themselves is awkward. Um, just a lot of those things are uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I've been pretty fearless like this most of my life. I'm not quite sure why. But so anyway, so I've set out today on a mission to do a lot of things in town, and I've ended up at this little restaurant. And I just wanted to share with you what the experience is like. I just ordered from the menu, and I'm going to show you around a little bit. So I had found it on the map, and I had read the reviews, and now that I'm here, I realize that actually it's a place that I've come before. Some friends brought us here. We just came in from the back, so I didn't recognize it initially until we walked in. But when you came up, it's sort of like in a neighborhood. It wasn't real obviously a restaurant, and this door was closed. And I just kind of opened it up. There was one other couple seated in here when I got here, but they've left now. But I think it's really cute. Look at that tree, like right in the middle of the restaurant. I hadn't noticed that. We've got a little mural on the wall. I'm just sharing this because I think we can be really rewarded when we go out of our comfort zones. Hanging over here in the corner is a pair of their traditional handmade leather shoes. Got some wood. I have a wood burning stove, I guess. Oh, maybe it's for their pizza oven. They do serve pizza. But it's a pretty fun room. That's my table right over there. Got little Bulgarian things up on the shelf. Quite charming. Some of the things remind me of stuff we found around our property. Little village there. This is pretty fun. I can read this now. That actually says Voditsa. It's the name of the water bottling plant that's in our village. And you've got some things up there. I recognize that tool there for pulling wool across, I believe, and separating it into the separate little strands. And then they probably spun that around, and that little kind of funny thing with the point on the end of it is what the wool would have been wrapped around. There's another one right there, so you can see what it looked like. A lot of people have in the past knit. I'm not sure if they still do. I don't know what these are. These are new for me. I'll have to figure out what those are. Imagine they have cultural significance. Back there busying themselves making my food. It's a full bar. Has a full bar menu. My little silverware in the roll. And he brought me over, cute little stuff. Brought me over the menu. I was happy to see that it was in English and Bulgarian. Let me just give you an idea. Some of the wine is quite expensive by the glass in restaurants. Here are some prices on the wines. That's not so high. So that's like $3.50 or so for that glass. Oh yeah, actually, I take that back. Here, a glass of wine for $3.11. That's quite a bit less than I've seen it other places. They've got vodka, other spirits. Let's see. You can kind of see some of the prices here in Leva. So the equivalent in dollars would be about 60%. And these you buy like the liquor. So like say you're getting a vodka. So if you've got a vodka for $11.50, which is probably like about 85 cents or something, 80 cents, then you would also get the tonic separate. Yes, a couple bucks for a drink anyway. And then here's the food menu. Lots and lots of salads to choose from. I've ordered the one on the top here that's cabbage with carrots. That's $3.50, so around $2 or so. All different kinds of hot appetizers. Some of these don't look as appetizing to us. Tongue nature. Yum, yum. I don't know. But it's good to keep an open mind. You don't see much beef here at all. It's primarily pork and chicken and some fish. They have an extensive pizza menu here. A lot of menus are very similar in terms of the items that they sell. It's a Bulgarian focused. It's kind of like how we have a lot of hamburgers. This salad right here, that soup is a yogurt, cucumber, dill, walnuts soup. I'd love to try it. I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm not really lactose intolerant. I'm very dairy sensitive. Can't do that. Here's different garnishes you can get. And you can order bread on the side. Yeah, just thought you might enjoy looking at a menu with me. Cute little napkin holder. All right, well, my food arrived, and how delicious it looks. Okay, bon appetit.